Hello, everyone. I am Paula Echeverry. I'm here with Chef Marshall Obrien because I've been following him for a long time already. Because he focuses on families, nutrition, health, wellness, pretty much everything, all under that umbrella, of things that they make a healthy life. And I always follow him because I have two kids. Probably I never said that, but I have a little family too, and I care a lot about my kids, not only my nutrition, but my kids, because, of course, that makes a huge difference on their health. And now there's all this, epidemic about obesity in the United States and different countries. And, depending really of the culture, their cultural differences, but there's this epidemic where kids are getting, diabetes, they're getting healthy, and that actually has a huge impact on their performance, their health, everything that that kids need to have a healthy life. So I really think this is really needed, this chat, because we get some ideas about how to feed our family and ourselves for better, better health. And I want to let Chef Marshall introduce himself, so please let us know a little bit about what you do. And thank you so much for being here.
Paula, it's a real treat to be with you today. Thank you for having me be a part of your show and getting to talk with you for a bit. I really appreciate it. So a little bit about myself. I am, as you said, I am a chef, but not how you might think. Groups hire myself and my company because they want to help their employees improve their safety on the job, their work performance. Maybe they want to improve their job satisfaction, definitely their health and their quality of life using smart nutrition. So when we're talking smart nutrition, we're talking four things: nutrition, sleep, hydration, physical activity. And so I focus and I call myself like a nutritional wellness chef, because we focus on, as you were saying, how do you improve your health and quality of life using food? I've been on this path for over 20 years now. I've been with my current business partner for over 10 years. We are in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US, and we work with all sorts of different organizations, from trucking companies to police departments, fire departments, to schools, health related like healthcare, childcare, and a lot of the folks that we are helping are parents. A lot of the parents are busy. Obviously, they're parents, so they have kids, and we're helping give these strategies and help really demystify nourishing eating and cooking and make it practical, make it simple. Yeah, I try to practice what I preach. Being a dad, I have two daughters, 11 and 8. I've been married for 18 years. I have an amazing wife. I'm very, very grateful, very blessed for my family. I try to practice the things that I teach in my classes, the things that I teach in my programs, in our content. I always do that at home. And some days are better than others, but because we're human and life shows up, life happens. But that's what I do. I also have a team. I have a team of chefs, dietitians, researchers, writers, videographers, publisher editors that help with putting together our content. Excuse me. So whether you see a presentation or you see video or you read an article, a lot of that comes from our team collective effort. So I'm very lucky. And yeah, that's a little bit about me and my background.
That's so lucky you have a great team in there. And, right now, of course, nutrition is so important for not only for our health, but also for our mental health, which many people don't know right now. I focus, of course, on the neuroscience and all of that, discussing all these things, but there's so many things related to nutrition that actually, of course, affect our mood and our performance, our focus. So many things that they're important. So would you give us a little bit of, tips of maybe how to, tips on how to, nourish yourself from your point of view when you have a family with kids, for example? How do you get them, interested in being healthy? Because that's actually the biggest challenge that I have every day in my house. how do you get kids to, to understand the value of being healthy without, taking away all the foods they want to eat, and they want to explore all these different things. So maybe you have little tips that you can give us to, be better with our families and ourselves that will help us to reach that goal.
I think that's a great question, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Paula, and say that you are not the only parent dealing with this. I think this is it's a common challenge, and now different groups have different needs, and whether you live in the U.S. and different parts of the U.S., you live in, if I recall right, you live in Portugal. Depending on where you live. Like my wife's from Istanbul, Turkey. Everybody has a different relationship with food. So that's kind of first thing to keep in mind is there's some basic truths that people can do to help improve their health and to help their family's health and help their kids. But I want to just put that out there that, recognizing, the way I grew up is when I grew up, and I'm 46 years old now, the conversation about food was there's food and there's healthy food. Food tastes good, and it's, pizza and all the convenience foods and the junk foods and the high sugar things and the things that it's easy to want to eat because it can frankly be kind of addictive. And then there's the healthy food, and it's the vegetables, and maybe it's hard to make, or it doesn't taste that good, or I had a bad experience with this kind of healthy food as a kid. So we've got, at least in the US, and I can't speak to, where, how you grew up, but in the US at least, there's this dynamic, and people need to be aware of that. And having that awareness, then we can start to make choices about more nourishing stuff. So we start talking about it differently. And rather than saying, hey, you need to eat it because it's healthy, you can say, oh, I made this wonderful green bean dish because you know what? It just tastes so delicious. And you don't even talk about the healthy side, okay? Because we immediately will clump it in on up tasting good. So it's how you talk about it is really important, number one. Number two, how do you enroll your kids in it or your significant other in it? Because at the end of the day, kids want power, right? So do adults.
Yes,
we want
exactly.
power.
They love it.
Yes. So if we can get our kids, and I have, as I said, I have an 8 and 11-year-old, and I have them help me plan the menus for the week. I have them help me go grocery shopping. Now, it doesn't always work out because people are busy and, timing might not work, but any activity that relates to eating those foods that I can get my kids to participate in is going to help dramatically increase the odds that they might be open to trying it. So that's another thing is that people need to pay attention is how do you enroll your kids in the process and have that understanding that they want that power piece. I want to, I spent about 10 years working in a public school setting in school nutrition, working with the kitchen staff, working with the parents, working with the students. And I also spent about 8 years working in childcare at this level, working with nutrition, with the meal planning, working with the providers, working with the kids and the parents. And so I have a pretty good idea as to how kids make decisions, how parents are making decisions. And oftentimes we as parents don't realize that because the way we talk about this stuff with our kids puts us in a position. Puts us in this position where the kids now are like having a power game with us. So let me give you a great example. Okay, so I'm typical busy family, and I want to, provide more healthy, nourishing foods to my kids. And I'm talking to one of my, maybe significant other or friend or whatever, and I'm in front of my children and I'm saying, oh, well, Paula doesn't like this kind of food because she's a picky eater. So I say that in front of my child, and then Paula, yes, you got it. So now Paula is listening going, oh yeah, I'm a picky eater. Oh, I can see mom and dad are getting a little wound up about this. I can see mom and dad are now having some concerns. Their energy's changing. I'm going to play this game.
Yes.
So we have to really, so I set that context because you can have the best, wonderful, most nutritious, great tasting, delicious foods accessible to the kids that, to your family. But if the mindset from myself and the mindset with my kids is what we just, demonstrated, it's going to be really hard to get them involved. So, okay. So again, going back to the tips, how we talk about it, how we enroll our kids in it, understanding the dynamics of how kids want to make decisions. And frankly, it's adults too. I mean, adults don't want to be told what to do, but they want to feel like they're a part of it. So then once we set that stage, then we can start bringing in those nourishing foods. You might be listening to this and you might be saying, well, my kids, 16, 17, and they've eaten junk food all their life. I'm kind of, it's too late. No, it's never too late. A lot of times people get down on themselves because they're not doing it the right way. Well, I'm a big believer in baby steps. I'm 11 years into being a parent and I mess up all the time. I'm learning all the time. Yes. And so if we can give ourselves a little grace and forgive ourselves for maybe not doing it perfect, whatever perfect is, right? But have that context of, hey, something is better than nothing. Because it's all, I like to say, anything you can do today that's positive that you haven't done yesterday is progress. Okay, so we've kind of set the stage, right? Yeah, exactly. So
anything is good. With my kids, it's the same. I noticed that when you engage them and you try to do in a more social environment, like get them all cooking themselves and getting them involved in the process and all of that, they're really enjoying, the food, and the good food start making, part of that. Like my little one, for example, she told me, I always put a snack in her backpack, to go to school. Yeah. And she's telling me, oh, mommy, but I see that all the kids in my classroom, they all have big boxes with a lot of snacks on it. I only give her one snack. She feels the idea that she's getting a lot more than just one snack. Yeah. The bigger snack that I did before. So it's kind of playing around with that concept, that you said, and stop demonizing all these foods and tell them, that's bad. You can't have sugar. You can have that, because the more you tell them, the more they want to do it.
Absolutely. What I love about your approach, Paula, is you're giving her a choice. She thinks she's having a choice, and she gets to be part of, having different foods, and she gets to kind of fit in with the group, even though, because we have a very specific food philosophy at our home, and our kids bring home, they bring a homemade lunch. They have their own snacks, and I absolutely can understand where you're coming from on that. And I love your approach. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and she seems to enjoy it. Like in the morning now, she's like, "Can I go with you and make my snack together?" So yeah, okay, come on, And sometimes we put a cookie. Okay, yes, that's not exactly it, but it depends. The other kids eating bad foods, they kind of mirror that too. So you want to make them, if you get them involved now, the other kids are going to see that she's having that. They might also start talking to their moms and changing their habits too. And that grows, it's like a snowball effect. It grows better, when you have better foods and things. That's what I'm hoping. So
actually, I love what you're saying, Paula, because you're what I love about that is your kids. Okay, so they're making a choice. They're getting comfortable with that. They like it. They feel that they have a say in it. They get to be happy. They get to participate, with that. But also, when they're eating that way, now this is when, as a parent, and this takes some practice. What I'm going to share, it takes some practice. But if you can start commenting about, man, I had a great day today. And they might say, well, why is that? And you can say, well, I got good sleep and I ate this dish and it felt really good and I did not have a headache, or my tummy didn't hurt. But you just kind of you just sort of have these simple conversations about how you notice your day going better and tie it to the foods that you're eating, and then say, oh, well, how was your day today? Or how did you feel after you ate that? But it's a nuance here, because sometimes parents feel pressured, and rightfully so. They feel pressured by a lot of outside, influencers about, oh, you gotta like do all this stuff, all that. You gotta talk a certain way to your kids. You gotta, give them all these types of foods, and you gotta have this like real specific attitude and mindset all the time. And I don't think that's sustainable. So if you can softly start having conversations on a consistent basis with your kids about how they feel when they eat those foods. Like my kids now, when they see other kids getting out of control and getting temper tantrums and, not like being able to focus and stuff, they will point out, you know what? I noticed that they're eating stuff that I don't think is helping them. Now, I don't want my kids to judge other kids. Don't get me wrong. This is not a judgment thing, but it's just about a self-awareness thing. So for the parents that are listening to your program, Paula, as they're thinking about, well, I know that there's all sorts of healthy foods, and we can talk specifics if you want. It really is it's a process, an evolution in getting the kids to connect the dots with, when I eat this way, I feel this way. When I eat this way, I can think this way. When I eat this way, my emotions are this way. I mean, it's big.
So yeah, I was saying that when kids do that, actually, they feel the effect of the foods in your body, in the nutrition. You can feel in your mood. My kids also feel that, they feel better when they eat healthier foods. And my little one, my 9-year-old, actually says that, Mommy, now I want to eat this and that because I know it's good for me, and they get in that, mindset. So that's good.
Can I add? I want to add something about that. So when you're, the more specific, and it's same for adults, the more specific we can connect what we eat to the benefit of how we feel, or, mentally, physically, that is going to be much more powerful and effective to continue to make positive changes. If we say, well, I'm eating this because I know it's good for me and I know it makes me healthy, that doesn't mean anything, especially for adults. If I've been doing the same thing for years and years and years, that's so vague. But if I wake up and I'm less stiff and sore, if I'm going through my day and I have like laser focus all day long and I have energy all day long and I'm not a zombie at the end of the day, and I can say, oh, you know what? It's because we made these really awesome, nourishing salads with this great grilled chicken last night, and I had that for lunch. And instead of having, fast food or some kind of convenience junk food, processed food stuff that I normally have, like, you got to be able to make those specific connections, because at the end of the day, people make, and you know this, Paula, people make decisions based off emotions, and then they back it up with logic. They back it up with rational thought. Kids are no different. Their brains just aren't developed enough yet to be able to have that awareness. But your 9-year-old, it's a compliment to you being a great parent to hear your 9-year-old saying, oh, when I eat this, I feel this way. I'm doing this because I know it's going to help me. That's huge. That's huge. And, and I always say awareness precedes choice, and choice precedes change. And we can get our kids, ideally it's when they're really, really young, but at any age, frankly, if they can develop that awareness, like you were just saying, your daughter's demonstrating, develop that awareness, then they can make more beneficial choices for themselves to ultimately make positive changes in their life.
Definitely. My kid is very aware, like you said. That's my 9-year-old, but my 13-year-old is another world. So she's more, attached to, sometimes fast foods, things like that. And it's really hard to get her off that. So I just did during the week a day that they only can, eat their fast foods, whatever they want. And that's okay, because I don't believe in I don't believe in blocking something, from a kid, because I don't think that's good for them. So I think, like you said, I always teach them moderation on things, and that's what I do. And even my kid, she has ideas. She sometimes gets, when she eats a burger, she'll feel a little, her belly getting a little
Yes.
the child really getting on that. So she notices those changes, and now she's getting more aware of those things. And now how food, gets in her body, and they makes all this trouble. And now she knows that. So she's more careful about things. I see her wiping all the fat from the meat and the stuff like that. Like she's getting more aware of those things. So
Yeah.
you see the kids start getting that, trying to take care of their bodies because they know their bodies are going to react to that or not, whatever. So,
Right.
Yeah, so
I think that, going through the IBS, while that's a really tough situation, that's actually,
yes.
I mean, you could look at it as a blessing because, like you said, she now has this real clear understanding on how, oh, these are foods that will work for me and help me. And these are foods that I'm going to probably want to have, a little bit because they're going to work against me. And that's really powerful. That's an empowering position to be in. And I wish more people could make that awareness. I have digestive issues, and I've had digestive issues pretty much my whole life, but I wasn't aware of it till about 10 years ago. And so again, that just at her age, to be able to really be clear on that and know that she has so much choices out there, and she can pick and she can guide herself so that she can feel her best is really empowering, and that's really huge. So she can take ownership for her life is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, at her age, she's taking ownership, which is amazing. So she knows, but sometimes you need to hear a little reminder. And
Yeah,
that's okay.
sure.
That's how kids
Yeah.
are. Anyway, that you want to finish by saying something maybe about your program. I saw you have a 4-step program online, and I'd like to know just maybe more about that and where they can find you online. Give us more information about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So at the end of the day, it was just like we were talking about with kids, whether you're a child or you're an adult, people want to make their own choices. And especially when it comes to taking care of their health and their quality of life. So I've been doing presentations for 15 plus years. I always hear from people that says, I want to be able to make my own choice if my employer doesn't provide what I want from a health and wellness standpoint, And so we have a self-study program. That was what you're talking about. The self-study program was designed to give people opportunity to pick what's important to them for their health and wellness needs. So if you've got a lot of stress in your life, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with depression, if you're you want better mental clarity, or you want less body pain or better digestion or less headaches. I mean, we've got over 28 topics. People can choose what matters to them. And then what's really cool about it is we teach, here's the foods to focus on if you want to reduce anxiety, you want to boost your immune system, reduce stress, whatever the topic is. Here's an article. So you watch there's a video, 8 to 10 minutes. There's an article, so you don't have to take notes. And then the thing I really, really love about it is there's a 10 recipe mini cookbook specific to the topic. So you can match up the foods that'll help you achieve whatever it is you're trying to focus on with that self-study program. So for a couple cups of coffee, it's a great program. I love doing it. And outside of that, I'm very accessible, Paula, as you know. Anytime that I can be a resource for you, anytime that people have questions, comments, thoughts, they can reach out. Happy to help in any way that I can. You can get me on all the social channels. You can get me on our website, chefmarshallobrien.com. But if I can help, I'd be happy and delighted. It'd be a real privilege to be able to do it.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll connect soon. Of course, I want to know more about health choices, and I really recommend for you follow Chef Marshall and get his tips, his cookbooks, everything, because that's amazing resource for all parents and everyone out there. So thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure, Paula. Thank you for having me on with you today. It was a real treat.
Thanks.